up on the mail. They gon' channel riding through the streets, they be like, they go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the A&J Soccer Show. As always, it's me, Jalen Thompson, and to my left,
Andrew Pipers.
And it's welcome to our 10th episode of the year.
10th.
So we're going to start off just by talking about the FA Cup really quickly. And we actually have some special guests in the house. We have Matt and Willem here with us. So we're going to talk to them about their respective teams. But before we get into that, what did you think about the FA Cup this weekend?
Yeah, no, I'm happy. First of all, happy to be here for the 10th episode. I think it's awesome. But FA Cup, just a quick recap of the scores. So Tottenham actually tied Newport 1-1. Not a great result for Spurs. Chelsea comfortably beat Newcastle 3-0, so nothing new there. Liverpool, however, got the 2-3 defeat to West Brom, so that's going to be tough, especially with Van Dijk. They had some better hopes for the defense, but the one that I obviously want to talk about, and you want to talk about probably, is that City 2-0 win over Cardiff. I have some thoughts, but first, what were your big takeaways from that one?
Well, I mean, the game started off like any other City game. Defense was kind of sitting back on him. De Bruyne scores a wonderful free kick to start the game off. And then Sterling grabs the second one. But in my opinion, the biggest part of the match was when Sané got taken out.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
And the guy gets a yellow card for the offense. But for those of you that don't know, Sané is actually going to be out from about 6 to 7 weeks because of that injury. So,
yeah,
I mean, it was a pretty big moment in the City season in general.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And I thought it was pretty pathetic. The guy on Twitter after the game, I think his last name was Bennett, he goes on Twitter and goes, "Oh, sorry, I wasn't trying to hurt you, Sané, I wasn't trying to hurt you." But I feel like you can miss a tackle by a couple inches. If you miss it and you're hitting the guy's up near his knee and twisting his ankle, I think that's just disgusting. Should have had a red, should have got sent off. And one of our best players is out for 6 to 7 weeks. But, bringing that up, that's not the first time that's happened this season. We've had De Bruyne and Sterling in the Spurs game. So I'm just wondering, I think City players are being targeted. I mean, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, at first when the first issue of when the targeting started becoming a topic of discussion, when City began winning, it didn't seem as obvious to me. I was like, soccer, the game's rough, it's going to happen to us eventually. But some of these, especially this last one, I mean, it was just so high up that it's kind of scary. You see the picture in Sané's ankles all twisted sideways while I stand on it. It's really nasty. But yeah, I definitely think that they're starting to be targeted a little bit, especially. It hurts that a player would get hurt in a game like that. The FA Cup, I mean, it's an important cup for us to be playing in, but obviously our bigger goals, hopefully be the Champions League and the Premier League. And so not having a player like Sané to participate in some of those matches is going to be pretty huge.
Yeah, I mean, I agree totally. I think another one that I go back to is Punchin's challenge on De Bruyne in the Premier League. Yeah. He got his knee and could have De Bruyne, arguably one of the world's best players right now, could have been out for months and months and months. But I think with the players being targeted, the refs have got to do something. And I can definitely speak as it from a fan, but I think maybe you being a player, is there anything in a game where you can say a ref should be doing something to prevent that from happening?
I don't know. I feel like the first thing to do is for the ref to do is for him to be aware that that's going on. I mean, I think everyone is pretty aware of the success that City's having by now, and the fact that's a topic of discussion. I think that he should be aware of that going into the game. And maybe when a couple of early tackles like that go on at the beginning of the game, you gotta maybe show some yellow card offenses, because it sets the tone for the rest of the match. So, the players know that the ref's not playing around. He's not having the cheap tackles at the beginning. That it's going to be a pretty strict game by him. So I think that's one of the biggest things the ref could do. But I mean, it really does change the tone of the game, though. I mean, if he decides to go early with the yellow cards, it will completely change the tone and the way that the players will have to adjust their game. So I think by the ref taking control of the game, it would really protect the players at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was going to say basically the same thing. I think so too. And I like the refs they just have to look out for this from City. But I mean, moving on, it is January 30th, so we've got 1 day left in the transfer window, but we've already seen a lot of huge transfers. Today, I'm going to butcher the name, Aymeric Laporte comes in from Bilbao to City, central defender. Also, Jack Harrison comes over from NYCFC to City. I think he got loaned out to Middlesbrough though, right?
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
Right away. He's off.
He's gone. He's gone. But anyway, I think Laporte is a great signing. We have central defenders. If you want to call Mangala a defender, you can do that. But I don't know how much. And then the young guy Tosin Adarabioyo, don't know how to say his name. He's good, but I think he needs more minutes. I think he needs to get a loan spell. But what do you think of Laporte coming in? I honestly love it. I think it's a great move.
I was so excited. You know what that means? That means that man, John Stones. See a little bit less minutes, and that made me kind of happy.
Yeah.
I don't mind John. Like I said, I liked him before he got injured, but let's just give him a bit of time to get his stuff going back in training and let him get back to the form he was at before come back in the squad. But I think Laporte is a huge addition for us, especially in terms of trying to win the Champions League and the Premier League together. I think having depth in that position, especially with Vinny, he's not the most stable player in terms of him, always getting injured and whatnot. But I think Laporte could be a really good partner for Otamendi. I think they could really play well together.
Yeah, I mean, I second all of that. And also Laporte, I watched some of his highlights. He's really good at defensive headers, which is where our central defenders are really good on the ball and they're good at defending. But I feel like with Vinny being out for so long, he was always that real big aerial presence.
He does bring that to the team. Yeah.
So I think Laporte will do that as well. And then, there were some other transfers for some other teams. Last week we were talking about Alexis going to go to United, and that went through. He's making something like $500,000 a week, which is ridiculous, but it's a hefty price to pay. But I think he's going to – I mean, he already has made some impact for United. He got man of the match in their FA Cup game against Yeovil. And I don't know. Do you think he'll fit in well with Mourinho's defensive system, or what do you think?
I can't really tell right now. I think when you go in a new club, you're probably looking to please. So I think that if anything, it might work out at the beginning. But I don't know. I feel like Sanchez has a pretty big ego. So, as time wears on, maybe things start to come up. But I don't know. I can see him and Mourinho having a bit of drama between the two, a bit of beef coming out.
Big egos.
Towards the end of the season. But some of the other interesting transfers that happened this week, Danny Sturridge went to West Brom.
Yep.
And Deulofeu from Barcelona is back in the Premier League again, and he's playing for Watford. So those are some pretty big signings going on during the midweek. I know West Brom's not the strongest team, and Danny Sturridge does need some minutes, so hopefully he can regain his form there to maybe make his way back up to the top teams in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good move for both Liverpool and Sturridge, that one. Hopefully, like you say, hopefully he can get back, because prime Sturridge is a good one to see. And then the last transfer we'll talk about might go through tomorrow. Has a lot of ramifications, but we'll just focus on the main one, which is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund to Arsenal. That would be a huge move, because Arsenal would have already Lacazette, who they signed in the summer, and then Aubameyang. I don't know if you could play both of them together. People are saying maybe move Aubameyang out to the wing like he played when he was younger, which would be pretty interesting. All I know, Aubameyang is good. He's fast, but he has a huge attitude. So I think it would be a good signing for Arsenal, and especially with Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang playing together again. But I can see how it could turn south. I don't know if you have
that'd be interesting. No, I think that you probably could put them up top together, and I think by bringing Aubameyang in would really encourage Ozil to sign a new contract, and some of their midfield. I think Wilshere's also out of a contract, that might convince them to stay, but I think that's a huge move. And for the Arsenal fans out there, I really do hope in your case that he does come, because I think you guys are lingering around 6th place right now, and that would be pretty huge for you guys in terms of getting a resurgence back into your season, and maybe hovering around that 4th place spot, maybe get you guys a Champions League spot, playoff contending spot or something. But
yeah, totally.
All right, well, we're actually going to start with our first guest of the day, Matt Renica. Matt, why don't you come on over here?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's an honor. We're in the who's on the back of that?
John Terry, man. Greatest to ever play central defender.
John Terry. All right, man. So just to start us off, how do you feel about your current season right now?
Yeah, as a Chelsea fan, as any fan in the Premier League right now, I think you have to throw out first place. That's not a goal. City's clean won the Premier League. I read something that they could win it by March realistically, which is insane to me. So as a Chelsea fan, first place isn't doable. City's won it, it's over. Anyway, I think the most realistic goal for us this season is top 4. There's 5 teams going for 3 spots.
Yeah, sure.
You got Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, the 3 London teams, plus United, plus Liverpool. And all of them can be playing incredible at any moment and terrible at any moment. You've seen Chelsea in the past weeks conceding goals, unlike Chelsea, and not scoring them. You've seen Morata missing sitters. And it's really just going to come down to the last couple of weeks here of who gets those last 3 spots. Like I said, City's won it, but United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, all separated by 7 odd points or something. So I think I do think we're a favorite to get one of those spots.
Right.
We're 15 points back at City, but only 3 back at United. So obviously you need to get results, and there's some big teams on our schedule, but realistically, top 4 would be great.
Top 4 would be good. So you brought up Morata there, and in the summer it looked like you guys were going to get Lukaku, and then you guys got Morata.
Right.
Are you happy with Morata, or do you think if you would have gotten Lukaku at Chelsea, what were your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's a great question because they're both very high-profile transfers, obviously. And you can argue about their form right now. Lukaku has produced more than Morata, but they've both produced. It's frustrating watching Morata, and I know you know this. We've talked about this because there are times that he should finish that he doesn't, but there's times Lukaku should finish that he doesn't. I think it's probably best that Lukaku went to United for his own sake, being a Mourinho boy. He'd known Mourinho. He wanted to be with Mourinho, and so I didn't think we actually had a chance to sign him. However, I do think having Lukaku would probably bode better for us now. Conte has complained about not having depth at the forward position, and the players that he's looking to bring in right now signify that he want a player like Lukaku. There's rumors of, right now there's rumors of Giroud and this crazy 3-way transfer. But there are rumors, and obviously this is total bogus. Peter Crouch. I don't know who's going to bring in Peter Crouch. But it would have been brilliant having him at Chelsea, but I don't see it at his age. I don't see him, but I think the big ones right now for us are Giroud and Dzeko. And so to go back to your question, I think it would make a difference now. I don't think in the season it probably wouldn't make a massive difference. They both produce similar numbers, and we got Morata for a bit cheaper than Lukaku would have cost us, but. I'm a big fan of Lukaku, having him at Chelsea before. I actually saw his first goal live for Chelsea. It was back in Seattle.
Really?
Played the Sounders. So
sweet. I'm
a little bit biased, and that was when he was 16 or 17 or something. He came off and took his shirt off, and he looked like a 25-year-old man. So, he's got a special place in my heart, but I think it's best he's at United.
Yeah. What about the Champions League? You have anything to say about your draw and any predictions you have about that?
The draw,
there were 3 teams we could have got, and 2 of them were Barcelona and PSG. So I think it was probably bad from the start who we were going to get. Barcelona, obviously, firing on all cylinders right now. I don't. It'll be tough to knock them off, especially going to Barcelona and they play their style no matter where they go. Kind of like you're seeing with City right now. It's the Pep Guardiola effect. But it would be great too. We've done it before. We did it in 2011. We won. But realistically, I don't think that we can rely on Champions League. I think if it happens, great. And we're obviously not going to play any second tier guys. We need to put out our first 11 in both matches, but I won't be heartbroken or surprised or disappointed, I guess, if we do go out to Barcelona. I think they're probably the favorites along with City to win the Champions League right now.
That's a big thing though, because if you guys happen to get past Barcelona, that means you're going to be going deeper into the Champions League, which is kind of going to distract you from your Premier League campaign and securing that top 3 spot. So that'd be interesting. Maybe it's an upside that if you guys do lose to Barcelona, you get to focus domestically a bit more. But do you think your defense could handle that top 3 that they have And just getting Coutinho too, like, do you think you guys can handle that?
Yeah, it's a great question. You look at who they had when we beat them in 2011 with, who was it? It was Messi, Sanchez, and I think Fabregas was playing the false nine at that point, which is, I mean, Fabregas not as good as Suarez, obviously, especially at that position. You have him playing deeper in England, but it somehow pulled it off then. You look at the players we have and you wonder whether or not we're going to be able to keep them out of the net when we're struggling to keep teams like Stoke. Well, obviously not Newcastle, shut up. In the FA Cup, but we're conceding goals in the league against teams that we usually don't. Mm-hmm. So a little bit of worry, but I guess going back to what you said, if we do get knocked out, that's a kind of a way to rationalize us getting knocked out is that you can focus more on the league. Obviously, you want to play in the Champions League as long as you can. Right, anything can happen with your draw, who you get, and it's 2 games, that 180 minutes, maybe more if you need it, that you can go out and anything can happen. So we'll see what happens with that, and hoping we'll get a repeat of 2011, but again, that's not something that I particularly think will happen.
Yeah,
okay.
That's fair.
All right, well, just to wrap it up real quick, I'm going to shoot you some questions. You're just going to pick one, basically, out of the 2 choices I give you.
Right.
So the first one's going to be Drogba or Hazard.
Drogba. I mean,
no time.
Go back to this. Oh, absolutely. Hazard is a great player. He's unproven, and he's got a lot of potential still. But you go back, Drogba, obviously a legend. And then Rafa Benitez comes to the club and screws it. He didn't play him. He sat him for, if you remember that year, he sat him. And then obviously he's frustrated with the club and went to Galatasaray. And he comes back, and I mean we win a Champions League because of Drogba. Right. And it's his last moment. I mean, it just perfectly kind of it sums up Drogba. That moment right there sums up Drogba's loyalty to the club, and there's a little bit of strife with Benitez falling, and you gotta like it that he's investing in American soccer too. So
yeah. That's true.
Mm-hmm. All right. And speaking of moments, if you could pick, what would be your favorite moment as a Chelsea supporter?
Got to be the Champions League.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
You go into that game and you look who we're playing. You look at our lineup. We started Jose Bosingwa at right back.
Legend.
And we started Ryan Bertrand in his Champions League debut at left back, with David Luiz in the middle with Gary Cahill. Mm-hmm. John Terry out because of his stupid actions at Barcelona, but Still with the trophy. Anyway, you look at the team that you put out there, and you're playing against Bayern in Munich. Yeah. There's no way it should have happened. The drama that was associated with Drogba's last-minute header, the penalty that was saved by Cech, given away by Drogba, and then just Drogba sinking it with the penalty. It tops the list, easy, no question.
I figured Champions League, that must be nice to have. But we're going to get there one day. But
we'll see.
One day. All right, next one would be Cech or Courtois.
That one's more of a tough one. Cech because of his longevity to the club, but I think they're very similar. I think, obviously, the left foot, it's kind of eerie watching them play. Yeah. They play so similar. They're both these big, long goalies that make big saves. They're good in the air, and they're both good with their feet. I think they're very similar. I don't see Courtois staying at Chelsea forever like Cech did, although we...
Very loyally,
we kind of kicked him to the curb, and he went to our rivals. So tough to see that, but I think they're so similar. That one's less of a kind of a jump out at me answer. I think I did, but I have to say Cech because of won the Champions League with us, stayed with the club forever, stayed with the club even when Courtois was there for a full year. Sure. What a dude to have. You have Courtois and Cech, so
unbelievable.
We got to go with Cech on that one.
I think that's a good choice. It's just based on a loyalty standpoint and history. I think that was a good choice.
Right. It's better when you have two goalies like Cech and Courtois to choose from instead of Joe Hart like you guys had for a while.
Anyway, if you could choose any player in the world right now to have on your team besides Messi or Ronaldo, who would you go for?
Well, I'm assuming Neymar's not in the picture either.
If that's then we'll take him.
Yeah, we'll take him out. Okay. Yeah. That is a good question. My heart wants to say Quentin Dempsey, but my mind won't let me say that. That's a good one. I have to think about that a little bit. Hazard's up there. De Bruyne, you'd love to have him right now, but you don't know how he'd fit in with Chelsea's system. Boy. I think I'll actually have to go with either Suarez or Aguero. And if I had to choose one, Suarez because he plays for not a rival. But they're both so proven in the Premier League. They're both so proven. And I think Suarez probably, because he played with a cast of kind of misfits at Liverpool, and him and Gerrard seemed to do it.
Yeah.
And again, you don't know how that'd work out because Torres was at Liverpool and was banging in goals like it was nothing. And he came to Chelsea in different
Kinda
story.
stunk it up, yeah.
But I'd go with Suarez, proven goal scorer, but him and Aguero, who can you really choose? I know who you guys choose, but fair enough.
All right, last one of the day. The Grammys were actually this weekend,
All right,
and
I wasn't. Why were you watching that?
I was watching that.
I wasn't watching.
There's a lot of talk about who would have won Best Record of the Year. There was a lot of controversy over it. I just want to know, who do you think should have won it between Bruno Mars, 24K Magic, Despacito, Jay-Z with The Story of OJ, and Kendrick with Humble?
I'm immediately going to rule out two of those. Jay-Z, sorry, bud. I didn't listen to it much. I didn't like it much. Maybe it's not my style. And Despacito, sorry. That one's got to go as well.
Okay.
But between Bruno and Kendrick, right, both very talented.
Yeah.
Bruno's talented live, and he's got everything. He can dance, he can sing. But you got to give it to Kendrick, you know?
Humble.
The album was brilliant. And my thing with Bruno, and maybe it's I'm not listening to the music. I'm not a music expert. I'm not going to pretend like I am.
Right.
I'm not an expert at anything. But somehow you guys invited me on the show. I'll take the invitation, but I don't know what I'm talking about here. But the thing with Bruno's album, was it 24 Karat Magic or whatever it was? What does that even mean? What is the meaning of that? Every song, I mean, not every song, but most of them are pop, aren't they? You listen
It's
to
like a pop R&B, like funk type. It's got a lot of stuff all over the place.
Right. I guess my thing is they're both brilliant albums, and Kendrick's is less popular, I'd say, on the radio waves because you probably can't play as many of the words on the radio. But I think his meaning of his album and the thought that goes behind each word is commendable. I think it's better than what you can produce in a pop song. So
Fair point.
that's what I gotta say. I don't. What do you guys think about it?
I'm even less of a music person than you, so I got to throw it over to Jay on this one.
To make things short, I'm a big Bruno guy, so I really was happy that Bruno ended up winning it. That was who ended up winning. So 24K Magic won.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that was big me. But anyway, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate
I appreciate
having
it.
the John Terry on the show.
It's intimidating to sit between two City fans, I'll say. Especially with you guys for them right now. I feel like I shouldn't be here. Somewhere else, but
Anyway,
thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me,
No, we
guys.
really appreciate it. I thought that was awesome how like he didn't even have to think about Drogba or Hazard.
Yeah, he was like Drogba right back. I mean, he probably is like a club legend. I mean, to be fair,
that's true.
Didier is. I mean, I respect him as a City fan too, but he's a really good guy to have up top. He was just a solid striker, and his passion, his fierceness that he had. I think you find that rarely in strikers these days.
And also FIFA 12 Drogba, one of the best players ever. One of the best.
FIFA legend and real life legend.
Absolutely. But anyway, so big thanks to Matt for coming on the show. But we have a Liverpool fan next. Willem lives right next to me, little 208 or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, welcome Willem to the show.
Hey.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah. So just like the same like general questions we were asking Matt with Chelsea, like what have you thought about Liverpool's Premier League season so far?
Yeah, I mean we've been pretty good. Good. We've only lost 3 games, which is kind of tied for second with Man U, but we're tying a lot. We're not keeping our leads, which is rough. I gotta say it. But no, I mean we've been having a good season. It's I always tell like non-soccer watchers, right? Like they always ask me like, how can you watch soccer, right? It's so boring. I was like, well, if you watch Liverpool, you're always on the edge of your seat because you never know when they're going to score, but you always never know when they're going to get scored on because that defense, oh boy, there's holes in it that you don't even see. Bam, they're there.
Yeah. No, and then like, so I know what you mean. Like you guys have been tying a lot, but do you think there's one? So you got Van Dijk in this window.
Yeah.
Do you think you're one defender away? Because you were mentioning those holes in your defense. Or, like, you're getting Naby Keita, a good holding midfielder.
Yeah. No,
would you like one more
part.
good center back, do you think?
I'm fine with Van Dijk. Van Dijk's a really good player, and I think I haven't seen much of him with Lovren in the back or Matip. So I don't know which partnership would work better. But I don't think Lovren and Matip are that far below where they need to be.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a general team defense, so kind of holding the midfield a little bit better. And I mean, Hendo's a great player, but I think we need something a little bit different with that him and John and kind of working in that midfield up at that top.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you a big Dejan Lovren guy?
No, not particularly.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It's kind of hard to be a big Dejan guy.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So domestically, just off the top of your head, do you know what position you guys are in right now? You guys in the?
We're in fourth.
You're in fourth right now.
Yeah, we're solidly
okay.
in fourth.
So that would get you in the Champions League for next year.
Yep.
This year's Champions League campaign. What are you thinking about it?
I mean, we're playing Porto, so that should be an interesting game.
Decent game, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they are undefeated in their league right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I mean Liverpool, you never know. Like I was more confident playing City than I was playing Swansea.
The mighty Swans.
Right? Like with Liverpool, it's just flip a coin. Like
You don't know.
We win most of the time, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Because like Salah misses sitters and Firmino has his moments of stupidity.
It's so funny that you said that though, because like going into the Liverpool City game, you guys were the only team that I was worried about. Like I'm gonna say that right now. Your attack, the way that you guys were like playing leading up to the game, I was so scared of Coutinho, Firmino, and Salah and Mane. Like, and then when I saw Coutinho left, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this could be it. Like, this is what we need to beat them. And then 9 minutes later, you guys are up on us, smacking us. So even though
Tough game.
you know, you're talking about they're inconsistent, and I agree with you. It's mainly your defense, and I also think you have a goalkeeper issue.
Oh, big time.
I don't. Mignolet, nah, you can't have him in the
And
goal.
Karius,
and
too.
Karius,
Like-
he's not the best, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's another slot that you guys would probably
big.
buffer up before you guys get to, like, you know, the top. You know what I'm saying? Like the big boys
we gotta
over
win.
here.
Oh, oof. I take that.
Anyway, yeah, but like I think your season's going all right, and like
Yeah.
we're
No,
saying,
I
like
mean-
Salah, he's scary, but I'm gonna bring something up, and Liverpool fans like yourself are gonna hate this. If
Oh, boy.
Coutinho gets the big money move to Barcelona,
Yeah.
you have to know Salah's agent is in his ear saying, "Hey, Real Madrid, you see them? That could happen."
Very well.
Do you, if that happens, just how big of a loss is Salah and Coutinho, like the combination of both of them? How devastating would that be to Liverpool?
I mean, like the best part of watching Liverpool win and Coutinho and Salah were playing together was just the way those two combined.
They
were just beautiful to watch. And I mean, those are two of the best players on the team, and two of the best attacking players in the world. You gotta say. So
No,
I mean,
that's
that'd be devastating for any team to lose two of their best attacking players. I do think that I was not that upset when Coutinho left. I mean, we need the money, and he's not going to stay forever.
Sure.
I mean, you can't crush a boyhood dream.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, you don't want to be a bad person about it.
Don't want to be mean.
And he's putting a lot of work for the club, so like, if he wants to go, like,
That's true.
that's his choice. But I mean, you can't really let him go this quickly. You need to
No.
you need to find someone with the Coutinho money, and you need to put him in the team. And then maybe a year or two from now, maybe you can consider letting Salah go. But you need to kind of rebuild the team with that money first.
It's a really good point, for sure. All right, so I've got just a couple of quick, like, kind of different questions for you.
Sounds good.
Not really rapid fire, but just kind of like quick ones. So, when you guys had Brendan Rodgers, you guys almost won the Premier League, and now you have Klopp, who's a very different type of manager.
Yeah.
Prime Rodgers versus Prime Klopp. Which one are you taking? As a
I'm
manager?
taking Klopp every time.
Okay.
You're not gonna. Brendan Rodgers, a decent manager for sure. I don't think a lot of managers could have a bad season with Suarez and Sterling and Sturridge playing the way they were. So I mean that's a lot of individual effort by those front three, and so I mean there's only so much credit you can give Rodgers for that. And then he made some boneheaded decisions in terms of the players he brought in, like Benteke to replace Suarez, and Andy Carroll, and Like, oh, it was.
Andy Carroll.
It was rough to see, but yeah, no, it's Klopp every time. Just the way he plays is so much fun to watch.
Absolutely. Congratulations. That's actually the right answer. Just
Oh,
kidding.
thank you.
So Liverpool, you guys have had plenty of amazing goals over your history. If you had to pick one or two, like, do you have any of your favorite goals that Liverpool has scored?
Oh yeah, favorite goal probably of all time, any league ever, was we were playing Swansea, like I don't know, a couple years ago,
Okay.
and Fabianski just hits the ball right off Milana, and it goes right in their goal.
Oh, it was like a.
It was right. It was such.
Oh, I think I remember that. I think I remember that one.
It was outside the 18. It was like no way. He was just trying to clear it. Milana gets in the way somehow, off his like the back of his thigh, like from at least 30 yards out. It was
Oh my
just
god.
so unexpected. So it was just such a beautiful thing to see.
That's awesome.
But then probably my actual favorite goal I've seen for Liverpool was there was one game when Suarez had a header from like maybe like outside the 18, and it was the most powerful header
I've seen that
ever.
one. I know exactly
seen,
what you're talking
and that
about.
was just summed up Suarez so well, and that was just a beautiful goal.
Suarez on Liverpool in that year, he was a beast.
Oh.
Like, as a City fan, I was scared of him.
I was pretty scared.
You were scared too, yeah. And then,
we won the league anyway, so.
yeah, I
No,
know.
that's unfortunate. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
And yeah, so last question I have. I'm sure the first answer will be pretty obvious, but are there any Liverpool legends that you miss the most and you wish they were in the team right now? Like, they would really like boost you guys.
I mean,
I'm sure the first one.
ooh, that's tough. Mascherano. No, obviously Stevie G.
Stevie G, yeah.
I mean, there's not a side that man wouldn't make better.
That's true.
I think in his prime, you can fit him in anywhere. And that's a sad day when we lost his last game. That was rough. It was a bad team too, I'm pretty sure. But moving on. What's another one? I mean, I would love to have Suarez back. I love Suarez.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was when I really started following Liverpool.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, I'd always kind of been a fan, it's kind of in the family, but I mean, that was when I goddamn.
Yeah. Yeah.
No Raheem Sterling?
I had no problem with it. Like,
Oh, really? Okay.
Everyone was
I was
like
making
talking
sure.
some smack about him, and I mean, I understand, young kid, like, what's wrong with that?
He wants to go to City. Let him go to City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
let him go to a better team, right? Just kidding.
I wouldn't say that. I would say let him make money. But
Just kidding.
yeah, no, he didn't handle it particularly well. But
Yeah.
kids
Awesome,
make
man.
mistakes.
Well, listen, we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah,
it
of
was
course.
great for us to hear some perspective about Liverpool, and hopefully we can get you back on sometime.
Awesome. Would love to be here again.
Sweet.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
letting me on.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. I was gonna bring up the Stevie G slip, but I didn't want to do him like that.
I've been pretty brutal. He might have cried. He might have cried. That's a pretty sensitive topic.
Oh, yeah.
For Liverpool fans.
Oh yeah. Anyway, that's all we got for you this week on the A&J Soccer Show. Thank you so much for watching, and we really appreciate the feedback. So please, keep on letting us know how we can make the show better, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, as always, you guys just like, subscribe, comment below anything that you want to talk about next week. But until then, we'll see you guys.
Coming